We're live. We're talking about carbohydrates today. Talking one of my favorite topics of all time: carbohydrates, blood glucose control, insulin levels. That's what we're talking about. So let's have some fun. I'm going to answer some questions and opened up to some possibilities. Really, what we love to do here is open up your mind to possibilities. Okay. I was just talking with our producer before the show here. I want you all to know we are not the food police. Okay. We're not telling you what's right, what's wrong, what you should do. You have to do this. That's not what we're doing. Okay. We have compiled the evidence for what lifestyle choices you can make to make the insulin that either you produce or you inject work more efficiently. That's what we do at Mastering Diabetes. We help you stack everything together that is discovered leads to improved insulin sensitivity. And the reason our results are so extraordinary at Mastering Diabetes in our Mastering Weight Loss program is because we are teaching people to put it all together. And when you do that, the results are extraordinary. So I just posted a video on Instagram just sharing me eating a breakfast as a type 1, showing my carbohydrate to insulin ratio. At that particular meal, it was 42-1, which it's actually oftentimes much higher than that at many meals. It depends on my activity, the time of day, and those are the key factors that would change it. But I have days where it's upwards of 100, 125, 150 at one meal, right? That's when there's many cardio days in a row, and it's a dinner meal. That's where that ratio can get absurd. But the point is, even at a 42-1, people are kind of like flipping out a little bit, being like, wait a minute, I'm at 6-1, I'm at 5-1. You know, a typical type 1's 10-1 or something like that. It's like the magnitude of difference is extraordinary, and we know that, and we're here to help you realize it in your life. And there's literally as many humans as there are on the planet. It's what is it, 7 billion at this point? I don't know. I'm actually going to Google how many humans are on the planet. How many humans on the planet? Let's see. 8.1 billion. 8.1 billion people, according to Google. I like to say that there are 8.1 billion different ways to implement a low-fat, plant-based whole food diet. We have key principles. We do provide a bunch of recipes. I share the types of meals that I eat. But there's a different way for you to do it. For you to incorporate more whole carbohydrate-rich foods, there is you're unique. You're different. You're going to do it in a different than the other 8 billion people. So just know that. So yeah, of course, in this book, we provide a bunch of recipes. We have a quiz in here so you can figure out what type of insulin resistance you're currently, and then that quiz towards what recipes to use. So we're at the book anywhere. You can get the book on Amazon. You can get it on you can get it at your library. You can get it at a local bookstore. All right. So you can get this book anywhere you buy books. The most common place is Amazon. I'm holding the hardback right now. We've come out with a paperback version, and that's pretty inexpensive, but you can also pick it up at the library. If you have never opened up an Audible account, you get the audiobook for free because your first book is free. If you for a Spotify subscription, you don't have to hear music. You can listen to the book for free. Spotify gives you 15 hours of audiobooks every month for free in your subscription. And I'm pretty sure the subscription is like $9.99 a month, or just Google it. How much does Spotify cost per month? Okay. Spotify premium accounts range from $5.99 per month for students to $16.99 per month for families. All right. And individuals and couples will find prices that range from $10.99 per month to $14.99 per month. So you could have Spotify premium for a whole month, listen to our book, and maybe listen to a couple others. I don't remember exactly how many hours this book is, but it's not 15. I'll tell you that much. Somebody says, please talk about lentils. They can spike my blood sugar, but so many diabetic recipes include them. So Yoga of the Vine asked this question on Instagram. And here's the answer. You're going to have to dig into the details. First off, I don't know what you consider a spike, right? I don't know what type of diabetes you're living with. I don't know what type of medications you're using. And I don't know if you're filling out decision trees. But let me give you key principles, a couple principles. If you're eating any particular food and you're seeing readings that are higher than you expect it to be, so you're not happy with these readings, then we got to go to the basics. We have to go through like a little checklist, a checklist of things. Question number one would be, how many grams of fat are you consuming per day? Okay. What is your percent of calories coming from fat? That would be number one. Okay. And the goal would be less than 15% of total calories coming from fat. Another way to look at it is just don't eat more than 30 grams of total fat per day. Okay. That's got to be taken care of. Then the next thing we're going to look at is your activity. What are you doing for activity, right? This program is not going to, it would work, it would be beneficial, but it's not going to get you ideal outcomes if you're not willing to move your body, whether that includes walking, whether that is in working your way towards, we're looking for a minimum of 6 workouts per week, all 6 of the workouts being a minimum of 30 minutes. And you do that so you lose your breath and it's hard to speak, okay? You got to work up to that. A lot of people aren't there yet. That would be like too big of a jump. But that's going to be literally baseline fitness for a high level of insulin sensitivity. Okay? So those are the things to check. If you're using medications, and if you want, the person on Instagram, you're welcome to like answer those questions I said and let me know, like, what type of diabetes do you have? What medications are you using? How high is your blood glucose going? Does it come back to a normal range, in 2, 3, 4 hours? Give me that information. I'll try and help a little more. But these are the key principles. So the Mastering Diabetes method in here, there's 4 components. There's low-fat, plant-based, whole food nutrition. There's intermittent fasting. There's daily movement, and there's decision trees. Okay? Those are the components. The low-fat, plant-based, whole food nutrition has the biggest impact. No question. All right? Diagnosed with type 2 diabetes first, but now diagnosed with type 1 and treating it for a year. Corey Craig, good. Hey, in your picture, I'm looking at your picture. You look like a thin dude. So your diagnosis makes a little more sense in that case. But I'm glad you found us, and hopefully you're implementing the Mastering Diabetes method. So Corey Craig, let me know what's going on. How's it going? Donald said, please discuss exocrine pancreas insufficiency in type 2. I'm not exactly sure what you're asking, but in this book, we identify the different types of diabetes. And something we were very clear to do that we didn't see other books doing is we distinguish between a non-insulin dependent type 2 and an insulin dependent type 2, right? There's an important distinction there. Insulin dependent type 2 is when you've oftentimes had the condition for so long that your pancreas is simply overworked. Your C-peptide is an indicator that your insulin production is low. You're just not producing enough insulin any longer, even though you don't have any antibodies, even though there is no official type 1 diabetes diagnosis. You have exhausted your pancreas and you might need to use medications, and you'd work with your doctor to figure out what the right medications are. But insulin dependent type 2 diabetes, it is a thing, and that's okay. But I'll tell you what we see even more frequently in our coaching practice is the number of people that are being misdiagnosed as living with type 2 diabetes, when in reality, they work with the proper doctor, they get the proper blood work, and their doctor finds out that they objectively are living with type 1.5 diabetes, or LADA, latent autoimmune diabetes in adults. And that's just what the data shows. And then the standard of care will likely lead to that person using a small amount of insulin, which is okay, right? In the case of like somebody being diagnosed with type 1, nobody would question, should that person start using insulin? Nobody would question that. But when it comes to type 1.5, there's a lot of confusion. And it's from our perspective, it's mind-boggling how many endocrinologists and medical professionals are not aware of this research, are not aware of this standard of care. There's a standard of care for type 1.5 diabetes. There are specific tests to be run. There's a specific interpretation of the objective results. And it's crazy what's happening out there. So we help a lot of people with that. We help a lot of people. All right. Someone says, I am plant-based. I eat overall very healthy. My A1C is 5.7. Should I be worried? If your A1C is 5.7, that puts you in the pre-diabetes range. I wouldn't be worried, but I would take action. I would get to the bottom of that. I'd get to the bottom of why your A1C is in the pre-diabetes range. I was diagnosed first with type 2. Why no doctors miss type 1? But yeah. Ghost. We have another one on Instagram saying type 1.5 in Utah. My A1C was the lowest since diagnosed at 6.3 yesterday. Congratulations. That's fantastic. Struggling to find home exercise that doesn't shift my hypermobile joints out of place. Trying chair yoga. Good, good. Hope you have the right medical professionals, maybe a good physical therapist. That would be huge. That'd be huge. All right. Look at who we got joining us on Instagram. The Gut Health MD, Dr. Will Bolskowitz himself. Check out 38 Tara. Check out Dr. B. Click his name if you're on Instagram. Good to see you. Claire says, I've been on Ozempic, is becoming insulin resistant. Should I come off before starting the program? Okay, so what to do with that medication? You got to work with your medical team. You got to work with your medical team. Talk to them, let them know what you want to do. There's really not a contraindication to adopting a low-fat plant-based soul food diet in the vast majority of cases, but you're going to have to talk to your team. I know there's a lot of complexities about what happens when you come off of that drug, and I'm not going to say I'm an expert on that topic. So, but you're in the right place. The fact that you're here, you're on this channel, you can get access to this book. Start learning about how we got Dr. B in the house. Read Fiber Fuel. Okay, start learning how fiber is going to be a big component to your overall metabolic health, your gut health, your goal towards weight loss. Like, start learning. You're in the right place. Start learning. Corey, let's go to Corey. Corey says, I lost 70 pounds when first diagnosed with type 2, was 270, then went down to 200. Now on insulin and Ozempic and have gained back 15 pounds. Yes, Lada. Corey, okay. Hey, Corey, I highly recommend connecting with the right medical professionals. Maybe you don't need Ozempic. Maybe the side effects aren't worth it. Maybe the long-term consequences aren't worth it. You decide. You decide. There's obviously more than one opinion on that topic. Check it out. Learn and work with qualified professionals. Giselle, any resources for type 2 diabetic whose A1C is 5.8 now, was 9.1, but struggles being underweight? He's lost the weight, off the meds, added challenges. He's neurodivergent, and simplicity is key for balancing meals to meet current needs. Okay, underweight, still having high A1C. I would get a C-peptide test. And if you want to work with a plant-based doctor, Love Life Telehealth. Just Google Love Life Telehealth. I would get a C-peptide and see what's going on. Underweight and still a high A1C is just as a red flag that warrants further exploration from qualified medical professionals. And you can get that at Love Life Telehealth. All right. Okay. Marilyn says type 1, first time watching, struggling with highs and some lows. Marilyn, glad you found us, because this book and this formula, it's very simple. I mean, it's simple, but it's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. So I'm going to show you in this book, the decision tree. Insulin dependent decision tree. That is your ticket. That's your ticket off the roller coaster. It is incredibly insightful. Your mind will be blown. This is for type 2 and for type 1, for type 1.5, doesn't matter. Going through the process of truly filling out a decision tree, getting these boxes filled out for every meal, okay? It's your ticket. It gives you the answers, and you're going to learn so much. You're going to be able to answer the question. How, by the end of the day, this total column at the end is a totals. By the end of the day, you're going to be able to answer the question: how many total grams of fat did you consume? How many total grams of carbohydrate did you consume? What was your total medication use? What were the ratios you used? How did it change throughout the day? There's only one way to do it. Everybody's unique. Everybody's different. 8.1 billion different ways to follow a low-fat, plant-based whole food diet. I said that specifically. Not everybody wants to do a low-fat diet. I get it, okay? But let's just pretend that all 8.1 billion people said, you know what? I'm going to do the low-fat diet. I'm going to go for that. Even within that subcategory, there's 8.1 billion different ways to do that. There's 8.1 billion ways to implement the Mastering Diabetes method. It is not a one-size-fits-all. We actually have a whole section heading in the book that says that. It's like it's not one-size-fits-all. It's got to be customized, and the decision tree is your key to understanding what's going on with certain foods in your body. Okay? All right. Hi, I'm watching from the Netherlands. Have type 1.5 diabetes. Reading the book now. Doing intermittent fasting and plant-based whole food and exercise. My A1C dropped from 13 to 9. Hope to reverse my insulin resistance. Excellent. Nadia, I'm actually just super curious while we're here. When you eat a meal, let's pretend you were going to have a meal of 100 grams of carbohydrate, Nadia. How much insulin would you need to inject? Like, what is your carbohydrate to insulin ratio right now? I'm super curious. All right. Glad to have you here from the Netherlands. Michelle, just need a pep talk. Basically, recommitting to the program works amazingly when I keep it up. Absolutely, Michelle. And part of that is your environment, who you surround yourself with. Sometimes being in a coaching program with others and having the accountability of a coach, sometimes that's the right move. So do what you got to do to set yourself up for success. Why is getting a C-peptide test important? Okay, I love that. It's so important. It's so important that we label. This is a what you would call like a cornerstone article. A cornerstone article. Let me Google it. So Mastering Diabetes C-peptide. All right. So we're going to Google that. Just to answer your question, why is getting a C-peptide test so important? We use those specific words, and we said the most important blood test for diabetes. No questions asked. The C-peptide test, the most important blood test for diabetes. The reason it's important, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I've already made the point there. Okay. The reason it's important is because that number gives you clarity on what you can expect when you start making changes to improve your insulin sensitivity. If your C-peptide is high and you've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes or prediabetes, that's great news. That means that you have plenty of insulin being produced by your pancreas. And now your goal is just to make it work as efficiently as possible. If the number's low, okay, now you still have that motivation. Okay, wow, my insulin production is kind of on the edge. So whatever I am producing, I got to make the most of it. And then if it's low, you start to question, maybe I haven't been diagnosed properly. Maybe I need to get some diabetes antibodies tested and get a proper diagnosis. That's also possible. It is such a key test. It is informative for everybody with every type of diabetes, even as a type 1. It's not that expensive of a test. If your doctor will order it and just have it included in your insurance and it basically doesn't cost you any money, I think everybody should see the number. My C-peptide is less than 0.01. It's an undetectable amount. I'm full-on type 1. My pancreas is just not producing insulin. It is what it is. Those are the facts. I'd love to fix that. I'd love to find a way to fix that. I haven't figured it out yet. Okay. So Phyllis says, useful for pre-diabetes? I mean, yeah, why not? Why not? It could be empowering to go and see that, hey, you know what? Like, I would also get your fasting insulin level tested. I would get both. But yeah, it's empowering. It's empowering because then you do what this book tells you to do. You reverse insulin resistance permanently. That's what this whole thing is about. That is what everything we do is about. And then what happens when you do that, as you see in our testimonials and the people who go through our coaching program, you see a laundry list of benefits. Weight loss, weight comes off effortlessly. Blood pressure decreases. Cholesterol decreases. Triglycerides, okay? We've seen people in our program reverse stage 3 chronic kidney disease. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease been reversed. Ben, your agent, is back in the house. Ben, he finished the book. I love it, Ben. Good stuff. Tell me what the results are. What's been happening, Ben? Would love to know. Okay, Nadia. Okay, I can't get on 6 down from 6.9. Okay, Witherspoon. First off, congratulations that you've already dropped your A1C by basically a percentage point. That's fantastic. Excellent. Now it's time to just kick it into gear. Let's take it next level. Let's go. Okay, let's go. Like when you hit a plateau, it's time to up level your game and see what you can accomplish. It's fun. Let's go. Ben, your agent said, what did he say here? He said, I think he said he read the book. Thank you for giving me the advice about Audible. Excellent. Excellent. So Ben was on a live not that long ago. He read the book, and I'm seeing a lot of positivity here. So I hope you all also take note of my Spotify tip. The Spotify tip, literally, go to Spotify, spend $14.99 for a month, and you can read our book and you can pick up another book. Maybe you can get Dr. B's book while you're there. Probably get both of our books for free by paying for 1 month of Spotify. Ben, your agent says, finish 2 weeks for breakfast option, and my glucose is coming in at 145. Okay, good. Ben, your agent, I think I suspected that you might be misdiagnosed. I forget what happened there. Hope you got your C-peptide tested. Hope you got that tested. Okay, we're going to run out of time here in a little bit. Fruits raise triglycerides in the beginning as the body detoxes. So, yeah, this is a situation where you're going to want to be in touch with your medical professionals. If triglycerides are a concern for you, it can be raised temporarily. And so you can do what you want with that information, right? Some people are like, you know what? Yeah, I don't really want my triglycerides to go high in the beginning. So I'm going to limit my fruit consumption and focus on other plant-based foods. That's awesome. Cool. We help people do that. Some people are like, you know what? I don't really care. I'm fine with my triglycerides being high. I talk to my medical professional where everybody's at peace with it. I'm going to eat the fruit I want to eat. Okay. So Ben is taking his C-peptide test this upcoming week. Excellent, Ben. Keep us posted. We're all invested in your journey right now. Corey says, should we be afraid of bioengineered ingredients in our food we buy at the grocery store? C-peptide is 0.36, which is low. It's very low, Corey. That's why you got diagnosed type 1.5. You sound like you have a good medical team helping you out there. 0.36 is incredibly low. That's autoimmune range, okay? Or that's completely burnt out type 2, but I can tell by your picture that you're thin. So anyways, yeah, bioengineered, genetically modified. Look, I'm not an expert on that topic. Can't say I've studied it or read a bunch of research. But I would just say from my own perspective, logically speaking, if I have the option, if the finances and what's available to me, if I could choose between, a naturally grown, tomato and some bioengineered version, I'd probably go with the natural one. So I don't know, but also you got to understand where you are, right? Where you are in the journey. Like, are you going to McDonald's? Are you struggling right now and you're going to the McDonald's drive-thru for breakfast, at Wendy's for lunch, and Pizza Hut for dinner? In that case, if you start moving over to having some, bioengineered tomatoes, I think you're going to experience an improved quality of life. Your blood work's going to improve, energy's going to improve. Like, there's going to be progress there. So I think it really depends on where you're at, what your goals are, and be realistic. Okay, Ben says, appreciated it. I'm going to make your videos about my journey on YouTube. That's fantastic, Ben. I love that. Cool. Can diabetes be acquired by constant stress and abuse? Well, I'm sorry for anybody who's experiencing constant stress and abuse. I guess it's possible. I think what would happen is most likely those types of experiences could lead to poor food choices. That's what I would guess. Martin says, I have diabetes type 1 and my last A1C was 8.3. How can I reduce the A1C? What are the consequences of having a high A1C? The biggest consequences, Martin, are an increased risk for the complications, which is the number one being heart disease. Heart disease is the number one cause of death for people living with all types of diabetes. So a high A1C is a risk factor for that. So I would definitely take it upon myself if I was in that situation to be like, you know what, I'm going to get my A1C. I would say under 6.5. The goal that we wrote about in this book for type 1.5 is between 5.5 and 6.5, no more than 4% of your time being spent in the low range. You don't want to get a low A1C by having your blood glucose low all the time. It's not good. Okay. All right, guys, we're running out of time here. Super fun to have you all with us. And I hope you guys are just having a great start to your year. If you haven't gotten a copy of the book, if you haven't found a way to read it on Spotify or Audible or your library or Amazon or Google Play, now's the time. And I hope you guys have a great day. We'll be here again on Friday, same time, same place. And I'll catch you guys next time.